This is what we do. We do public relations, social media, advertising, promotion, loyalty programs, online website. Those are all the strategies and tactics that we employ to get these people through their spectrum of behavior to travel. I'm going to tell you a little bit about just see how the experience really does affect, because once our partner gets done with them, then all of a sudden we get them in our destination. This video was a little funky earlier.
Can I help you? Name, please.
Seinfeld, you made a reservation for a mid-size, and she's a small. I'm kidding around, of course.
Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, we have no mid-size available at the moment.
I don't understand. I made a reservation. Do you have my reservation?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we ran out of cars.
But the reservation keeps the car here. That's why you have the reservation.
I know why we have reservations.
I don't think you do. If you did, I'd have a car. See, you know how to take the reservation, you just don't know how to hold it.
So you kind of get the feeling, right? You know, somebody gets here, they have that type of experience, and then boom, they're off to the races. And then when the hotel gets them, you can imagine they're a little upset. So we rely so much on our partners to deliver a great experience, and this is one of those ones where you really we have to really help and impact that experience. On our convention sales effort, like I said, we have an office in D.C. and Chicago. We have 31 convention sales and service people. We really have a great group of service people, so once you're booked, we try to stay in touch with you and make it a great experience. And by the way, we use this Blue Bear only in our convention center marketplace. We don't really advertise it to those that don't use the convention center. But our Blue Bear is a 40-foot tall, 10,000-pound Blue Bear that stands outside of our convention center. It's part of our public art process when we built and expanded the convention center, and everybody has loved it. So we built it into an ad campaign, and we've had a lot of fun with it. It's kind of the gecko and you know, the Budweiser horses, and so we've had a lot of fun. And what customers are looking for, of course, are accessibility, facilities, safety, service, affordability, now green, and destination appeal. So that's how Denver has really evolved as a city. We've really gotten in that. We had the cost of entry. We built the hotels, we built the center, we built the airport, and now it's really about destination appeal and the service. And then you know the markets that we go into: corporate, association, educational. The leisure market, of course, is one of the fastest growing, and that's something that I think a lot of cities are starting to get into. Of course, they look at the business traveler, they look at the conventions, and they say that's big business. But the leisure traveler is really the fastest growing marketplace. And for us in Denver, geez, 20 years ago, we were the gateway to the Rockies, and we made a conscientious decision when we brought in 7 professional sports teams, 4 new sports venues, 3 new museums, all the things that we've done, hosting the All-Star games and some of the fun there. We made a decision that we needed to make Denver a destination so that you could come here, enjoy the city, then go to the gateway to the Rocky Mountains. But this is just one of the studies that 9 out of 10 took the active travelers in America took at least one trip primarily for leisure last year, and only 1/3 took an overnight trip for business. So the leisure market is certainly growing across the country, and I think you'll see more and more cities engaging in this practice. However, everybody's under time poverty. I'm finally starting to relax. Come look at the pie charts I made in the sand. And this is something that we're going to deal with, because what we have going on right now are conventions that used to be 4 days are cutting back to 3 days. People don't have the time. Or, you know, that closing reception, you know, it used to be 800, now it's down to 400. And it's because people need to get back to the office. We also see on the leisure side that short trips are where it's at, long weekends. People don't have the time to take that week-long, 2-week vacation unless you're from Europe. But what will happen is that so you really have to plan, and in this economy, we've really kind of drawn a circle around 600 miles and said, how do we get people in here to visit our city, make it easy on them? And then on the long haul, we really have to work with direct flights. As Peter Greenberg once said, you're not a destination if you can't get there. So it's really important that we work with, you know, with markets that we have ease of access in. On the tourism marketing effort, we do some incredible campaigns. We really try to talk about the duality of a city, and the urban city and the mountains. We do about 400 million impressions out there. We have 4 visitor centers that we operate in the city, and we also capitalize on DIA's air service. Last year we did the Blockbuster Summer with King Tut, and we work with all of our partners. And again, I think that's how we try to engage our colleges and universities. We have access and we do a lot of work with our partners, and it's a lot of fun. And we generate a lot of advertising impressions to sell really and package the fabric of our city. What's going on? What's going to make it exciting? This year, you are part of our Summer of Adventure. You're here, so hopefully you'll get out and see the Pirates Museum, the Pirates exhibit out at the Nature and Science Museum. We've got a great zoo that's the Asian Tropic exhibit is being built right now. We have marvelous mud over at the Art Museum. So if you get a chance to get out and see some of this, this is great. But we just, again, try to package things out and sell that because people don't come for one thing. They want to come and experience your entire city. I'm going to, let me see, I wonder if I can back up. You know, there's a shot right here down in the lower corner of Red Rocks. If you get a chance to get out and see Red Rocks, it's an unbelievable amphitheater, 9,000 seats. It's built between two big towers of Red Rock. It's acoustically perfect. And Pollster magazine every year has an award called the number one venue in the country. Red Rocks, try that, won for 15 years in a row. They finally named the award after Red Rocks. That's how spectacular this place is. And it's really up there in it's owned by Denver, but it's about 20 minutes away. It's a spectacular place if you get a chance to see it. And then the building on the left is our new art museum, the Hamilton building. Public relations, you know what that is. We're really out there. We get about $18 million of free press on Denver every year, so we're always pitching the PR and the media. We do a lot of collateral. Obviously, we work with a lot of companies, but we distribute hundreds of thousands of guides. And, of course, you know, all of this is on our website as well. And then the interactive operations. And how many people are really engaging this into their studies, this whole technology and interactive piece? This is really, yes, I see. This is really shaping how we do business. You know, your mobile apps, it's constantly changing how you use your social media. Okay, this is what it all comes down to. I tell people when I started off in the business, there was very little accountability. And now, geez, we got to report on everything. It's not any fun anymore. But after we do all these advertising and marketing programs, we actually show up and we do our studies. 12.7 million overnight visitors came to Denver in 2009. The visitors spent a record $3 billion. And what we really try to do is, what does it mean to the resident? If we didn't have tourism in our state, each household would have to pay $364 more in taxes just to have the same services that they have today that we enjoy. So tourism is great. I hate to take advantage of you like this, but when you come here, you spend money, you pay taxes. Those are taxes that we don't have to pay, and it's just a great industry. This gives you a little bit of an idea about how our visitors have been over the years since we really turned that corner and made Denver more of a destination. So the numbers have been pretty solid of overnight leisure visitors. Our return on investment is for every dollar we spend, we get $80 in return. That comes out to about $6 of local tax dollars and roughly $2.30 in state tax. So it's really good to be able to show that return on investment especially when you're using public dollars as well. Since I am part of the state as the chair of the State Tourism Office, I'm very proud to say that we are doing great work there at the state level as well, promoting Colorado as one of the top visitor states. And I show this because this is a little bit about market share. We had a little tax on travel visitor type services like lift tickets and hotel. That generated back in the day about $14 million. And then the voters were asked if on all tax issues if they wanted to renew that. And back in the day in 1992, they were really anti-development, anti-growth, and they kind of saw this as part of that. And it was turned down. We went from #1 in winter vacation, #1 in summer resort vacation, down to 18th within a couple years. We lost incredible market share. Dean Runyon, who does a lot of economic studies, said that we lost about $2 billion a year in spending as a result of no marketing. Every state in this country uses Colorado as the what not to do. And seriously, Florida, Michigan, everybody is showing a case sample of what happened in Colorado, because very seldom do you really get to show what marketing is all about. Well, they got to show that we took the nosedive, we lost market share, and just when we started getting our money back, and let me just show you here, we started to restore our funding through the governor's office and our legislatures, and we started to grow market share. And in our office, most cities in the top 20 with the exception of like a San Francisco, New York, and that, have a market share of about 1% across the country. So it's really hard to lift market share. But when we did, the voters approved 2-to-1 that we would get more funding to market. We put it to good use, and we've actually grown market share even in the tough times. So that means we're actually stealing it from someone else. It is still a tough economy. I love this quote by Bill Marriott. The hotel business is cyclical, 2 good years and 15 bad. And that's what it really feels like. As a matter of fact, everybody comes up to me because we had our second best convention year last year. We're going to have our second best tourism and convention year last year. We're going to have the second best this year, so that'll put that third. The last 4 out of 5 years have been our best years in 100 years. So that's kind of where we're at. We're on a little bit of a cloud right now. But everybody comes up and says, oh, you got to love what you're doing. This is just great. Denver's really hopping. And I'm thinking, okay, do I say yes or do I say I'm really worried about 2016 and 17 right now because they look soft? Well, that's my world. 5, 10 years from now is my tomorrow, and that's what we're looking at. We have business booked out to 2033 right now, believe it or not. Not the whole city booked out, but we have business booked in our convention center. So we're always worried about the future. And then, of course, what's next? It seems like as kids come out of school, it seems like every 10 years we're worried about something that's happening in the economy, or immigration boycotts, or swine flu, or you name it. It seems like we're having a problem. And we have to deal with this in the travel industry because we are so reliant on the macroeconomics. So if information is king, we have people who are in the information business staying in our hotels. If it's bioscience, we have them stay in our hotels. So any impacts that are happening really influences what we do. And then, of course, we couldn't catch a break there for a while because right around the TARP time, we had President Obama say, you don't blow a bunch of cash on Vegas when you're trying to save for college. Well, that killed Vegas, and I think you probably remember that Roger Dow with USTA, formerly with Marriott, got an actually private meeting with their board with President Obama, said you have to be careful. You say that, and it really does impact the industry. And then just right after that on the Super Bowl, an ad appeared on See the Horror of Hotel Vacations. And this was on a way to stay in condos or homes when you travel versus hotels. So I was just like thinking, we can't get a break here. We're in a bad economy, and then we're getting hammered. Of course, we invented staycations, right? If you can't make people travel, just let them stay around the state. And so we all came up with, telling everybody that they should travel around their state and stay very close. And that actually worked for a couple years. I think all of us now are saying, hey, it's time to get out. People want to travel. They want to be with their families. They want to be with their grandkids and spend that special time. So thankfully, we're seeing travel come back and more long-haul travel. So people are getting on a plane. They're traveling farther. But for a couple years, I think every destination was really focused on having people kind of spend more time in their city. And it actually has worked well. Okay, here's the last part, and before I wrap it out, what not to warn our students about the industry. Just a little bit of what's going on, and I'm sure you guys are all aware of it. But technology is really driving behavior. 80% of the households will have wireless connectivity by 12. 55% of all travel purchases will be made online. That's no surprise. And this mobile use is just unbelievable. I mean, that is where we're seeing the big shift right now in everything that we do. So it's, the website is one thing, but getting that in different parcels on the mobile applications are big. And you have to have it, you really have to have it all and have it all interconnected. Images and eyewitnesses accounts. Tell your kids that this is what's happening out there. This is an unfortunate guy tried to get off the lift in Vail Resorts, and you can see he's hanging there with his pants off. And the kid that was working there actually took his phone up, took a picture of it. 3 million page views by that night. It was on CNN and all the major news stations in 24 hours. Now, this guy made a little money, of course, when it was all said and done, but it was quite embarrassing. So the whole idea of images and eyewitnesses accounts are changing and trumping